Hello, everybody, and welcome to another amazing episode of Sphere of Success, where we look at businesses, how they've handled triumph over adversity, because let's face it, it's pretty much every day for the business owner, isn't it? We take it in our stride, but sometimes it can knock us off kilter, and it's always nice to see people who have risen to the challenge, who are making a success of what they're doing. And this is the two gentlemen that I've got here today as wonderful guests. Colin Lee Berry. He has Sell My Gym. It's a wonderful app for people to buy and sell gyms. If you're in the fitness world and you're starting out, you can even start out with a gym. He makes that all completely simple for you. It's transformative in the gym world. And then we have Chris Windley from Jets Fitness. It's just taking over the UK like wildfire. Amazing gym from Australia. It's going to be national, multinational. It's taking over the world. It's got an absolute brilliant brand. So guys, welcome. It's lovely to have you both on the show.
Oh yeah,
Wonderful.
thank you.
Wonderful. So Colin, I'll start with you, get you in the hot seat first.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear a little bit, and so would our listeners, about your journey, because it doesn't just happen overnight, success. You know, it's a long time in the making. So I'd love to hear your journey as to where you've been and where you are now.
Sure, yeah. My journey in fitness started, I qualified as a personal trainer in 2001. And then I went mobile because obviously the typical thing is you get qualified and then you go for an interview for a job, and then have you got any experience? And obviously you're like, no, I haven't. So you have to sort of go out and get some. So I went mobile for 6 months just to get some testimonials and things like that. Worked in gyms in LA Fitness was my first one, I think it was. That was that was a while back. And then through to different ones, Next Generation, which turned into David Lloyd. And then I was lucky, I got some celeb clients all the way down in Surrey. I did that for about 4.5, 5 years. Then the journey broke me. So I sort of wanted that a bit closer. Then BBC Elstree Studios, I worked and run a personal training studio in down there for about 5 or 6 years, I'd say. And then obviously, like everyone, the pandemic came, completely changed the landscape of everything. But luckily I'd started dabbling in tech probably about a year before the pandemic hit. So that kept me busy early on with coaches needing to get an online platform to be able to teach train their clients and so on because now they couldn't get in the gym. So then I started to move into the tech side more, online coaching, that sort of side. And then as we started to come out of the pandemic, my app development sort of really took off. And then I started to get to the point where I think I want to have my own apps. So rather than just always developing them for other people, but I wanted it to be something that was, in my area rather than just be something completely different. And then I got speaking to a few people about becoming gym owners and things like that, and different franchises and things, and started to research that a lot more and realised that if I'd have known that information before, when I was a personal trainer training celebrities and so on, I could have owned my own gym. Yeah, because you just think it's unattainable at that point. So you just think I've got to get more clients, more sessions, and maybe do some online coaching and that sort of thing. So the idea that you could have your own setup just didn't even enter my mind. But now what I do know is it's very attainable. Obviously, some people would be attainable like now. They're actually probably in a position they don't even realise that they could start up one now. But it could be someone's just qualified as a fitness instructor. Then that they might think, okay, in 5 years' time, if I do this and do that, I can look to start maybe opening my first sort of studio or something maybe a bit smaller, and then building up from that point. So as soon as I started to look into that, then obviously that's when the Sell My Gym idea came, because I think like anything, you want to build a community. So rather than it just being an app, the idea is I wanted to create a community within it where it's value, isn't it? People want to get something from being on there. And the biggest thing is we want to show them how they can become a gym owner. So we've got a free book once the app launches that'll be available on there for anyone to download. And it's literally a step-by-step all the way through from day one, all the way through. From the financial side, marketing and so on, but obviously the franchise route is obviously the other option. Again, if I'd have only known what I do now, I think I would have gone the franchise route rather than just opening a gym myself and thinking, right, what do I call it? And the electrics and all this, that, and the other. I think I'd rather someone that's been there, done it, got the proven model, knows about all these different aspects and can help with that. Would have been, it's like someone else holding your hand whilst opening a business rather than literally going alone and sort of making mistakes as you go, which could be quite costly as well. So I think franchising technically could be the better alternative, even just for that, just to save yourself from making a lot of mistakes that could cost you money, but could actually cost you the business in the long run. So yeah, and obviously there's plenty out there. But obviously, yeah, seen Jets Fitness quite like this. I think it's huge abroad as well. So I think it's going to be very big here as well, which is good.
Very interesting. And what I'd love to hear is, I've not heard of an app like this, that you can buy and sell gyms. You can see what's on the market. You can get involved as a young trainer or somebody just starting out into the business. Have you come across anybody else that does it? Because it sounds pretty unique to me.
We sort of early on, like researching, and obviously seeing like what is it going to be any good? Is it worthwhile doing? So obviously, predominantly there's businesses for sale, websites and listings and things like that. So they do, obviously you can have like an ice cream parlor with a hairdressers and then a gym. So it's all mixed in. You've got to find, so you've got to be looking for it to get that. So the idea came about, and obviously researching how many gyms are for sale across the UK, and then that started to think there's definitely enough scope for that as well. And we're going to have multiple things on there as well, such as education to help people become gym owners, but also things like gym equipment, old, refurbed, new. We're going to have like help with getting the finance towards being able to buy the gym. And lots of different aspects like business insurance, and going through absolutely everything to make sure that every step's covered. Some might need all of that, they might have that in place, or if it's a franchise, there's certain elements that will already be there in their set model. But for anyone, obviously, if they are opening a gym or a studio on their own and branding it themselves, it's probably a good idea to be able to have everything there for them that they could possibly need to set that up. Because unfortunately, even if, for me, you're in the fitness industry, and I think a lot of people that set their own business up, about your industry, but setting up a business is the thing that you don't really get taught. And I'm sure you to have learned from mistakes maybe really early on. You think, what did I do that? But if you have that business knowledge on top, and assistance, then you can actually refrain from sort of making those mistakes. Which, if you can get that help, take it. It's definitely worth it.
Sounds really interesting to me, because this technology is forging away, and ultimately I think, as you're saying, one of the things I think, as you said, you'd wish you'd have known sooner of what the opportunities were, but there was nobody to help you to navigate. And I think this app, from what you're saying, is an absolute godsend for people who are looking to say, could I do this? And the more that gets out there. What are you doing to publicize the app for people? Because it'd be very interesting to see how they can find out about it, what it is,
So
and where
obviously
you're doing it.
we've got our website and stuff now. I've been on LinkedIn. We've been doing the old-fashioned thing, I suppose, literally just talking to people, like people within the industry, people that already know within the industry for like years back. Some of them are still well within the industry and got big communities of personal trainers, like thousands and thousands that they are having groups and so on. So we will be connecting with those as soon as it's ready to launch. And yeah, just getting the word out there like that. And obviously down the line, it'll be more like ads and stuff. But I think it's quite nice, especially early on with our marketing, to see if it's viable. We were speaking to people already, so obviously to get the feedback we did, then it said, okay, we are doing it now. So a lot have said that they will come on board. So we've got quite a few different parts of businesses and so on that are already wanting to be involved in it and sort of assist potential gym owners in getting to that point. But the biggest one I'd say is for people is obviously the first thing is the finance side. That tends to think that, like, again, that's probably what I did. I never thought, because it's like, well, surely you need like 500,000 and in cash, and and it's like, and it is actually that you think, well, I'm never going to get there earning 30,000 a year, 40,000 and so on. But actually, when you see how you can borrow certain money and against things or not against things, or perhaps someone else coming in with you, there are plenty of ways of doing it. And there are people out there that want to invest, and as well. So they have trainers going in with these people, like friends or family or whatever. And especially with certain franchises, well, with a proven model, you've got the proof. It's not like opening your own gym when there's no proof. It might work, it might not. Whereas obviously like Jets is huge. So it's like, if someone asks for proof from Jets, I'm sure Jets can just show like a whole database full of proof that it works. So it's I think that, like I said, the other thing is definitely the route I would have gone had I have known. There could be potential down the line, maybe. Maybe that's my next project. I'll be on the phone, Chris, the Jets.
Excellent. And before we go to you, Chris, one of the things I'd like to find out from you, Colin, is the young people of today, me being a bit older, might not know this, and other people who perhaps are looking to invest in your app, because I know you're looking for investors at the moment. The younger generation, what's their view about going to the gym?
It's weird. I mean, being a gym user now as well, especially now with the world of Instagram and TikTok and appearance and things like that, the gym's actually got a lot more teenagers and are using the gym. When I was, it was Next Generation. It was Scott Lloyd before David Lloyd. Then I think it went to Whitbread and so on. It's quite confusing, but it was before it went back to David Lloyd. And we had like a part of a gym that could be used for teenagers, and it did okay. But now I've seen gyms. I was in the gym earlier today, and it's a lot busier. So there's a lot more gym users at that age range than perhaps were before. It's quite an anomaly. When I was a trainer, that was probably about 2008. You had a few around, and you're training. I don't know what to do with them. I don't know if they want to do it, But now, because of, unfortunately, I suppose a good and bad with TikTok and Instagram, it's all about appearance and so on a lot more. So people have whether you like it or not, some people filming themselves training, and that's going up on TikTok and stuff. And some are earning money from it. So I suppose as long as the gym's okay with that, some are earning serious money as well from it. So which is incredible.
Yeah, well, it's good from the fact that the young people now are going to be the generation of gym users of the future, and real, hardcore, it's part of the deal. You rent your place, and you want to get a gym membership, So anybody that is looking as the longevity of gym usership, that's why I asked the question. It's interesting to see the dynamics of that from a young person's perspective, so that you can see then that they're moving into the gym world, and it's only going to be more and more subscribed as a growing industry.
Yeah, and it's how I become a personal trainer. I remember right at the beginning, I was working in an office job I hated, 9 till 5. But literally, my brain 4:59, it wasn't in the job at all. I was out that door on the dot, and then I was back in like 9:01. That was it every day. And then I think I just left, had enough. I didn't want to do that sort of thing. And then I'd always been in the gym a lot, and a trainer just come up to me, and I just said to him, I'm trying to think what to do, and he just handed me the personal training, Premier Training International brochure, and I was like, it was like the light bulb moment. I was like, yeah, and that was it. Literally in the fitness industry ever since. So he didn't get any commission for that, I don't think, but
he got you on the road, which is marvelous. That's fantastic. Thank you, Colin. Because what I'd like to do now is talk to you, Chris, because Colin's mentioned about franchising a number of times as one of those ways to actually look at as an established business that's got the infrastructure in place, so that it helps to de-risk if you're looking to buy your business for the first time, or even if you're a seasoned business owner. So I'd love for you, Chris, to tell us a bit about Jet Fitness, what you're doing, and how you do it.
Yeah, well, thank you, Deborah. And I've got to just say, first of all, I just think Colin's just done an amazing job, don't you, Deborah? Right?
Well, I mean, he should be on commission, shouldn't he? I mean, really.
Yeah. Again, I'll be on the phone, Chris, for that after this.
Yeah, Colin's with sell my gym. That's not Jet.
Yeah, and by the way, Deborah, we got to know one another because he basically reached out to me on LinkedIn and that. So he's obviously he's doing some LinkedIn connectivity and that, right? So when you messaged me, like, the time that got us speaking again, Colin, and that, I think we were already a connection for a while, but perhaps you'd only just decided to message me or something. Was that about right?
Yeah, I think now. Yeah, I sort of, especially, I'd heard of Jets because I think the Jets they're everywhere, aren't they? Like, obviously they're in England, but
Well,
I think, yeah, I have, yeah, I'd heard.
I don't mind you having that impression, Colin, that they're everywhere.
We need one here in Ely as well. Actually, do need one in Ely.
We'll be writing one another checks here in the way we're going at the minute. Yeah, but yeah. No, and yeah, so you know, he definitely, I mean, he was saying, you know, that he was basically putting the word out in that, Deborah, and he definitely is, you know. And I basically, like, after he sent me a message and that, I looked at his profile. Oh, this could be an interesting conversation and that, right? You know, and well, you know, honestly, we just like got on like a house on fire, really. And you know, obviously, this, you know, what Colin is doing here, helping educate people, particularly PTs and managers, is just so important, right? It is. I've got behind me our like culture board, Deborah.
Oh, proud to be Jets! Wow.
Yeah, which you haven't seen before, right?
Well, I do like the fact that your walls are painted the same colour in the corporate colours.
Yeah,
That was more by accident than design.
Oh, no, well, yeah, obviously it's all planned, isn't it? Yeah, but yeah, but no, we, you know, part of Jets culture is, you know, basically to help members, but also franchisees as well, or you could say, as Colin is saying, like basically to help PTs and managers, right, to become franchisees, right? So, you know, so I mean, I'm sure, you know, if you're a PTO manager and you're speaking to Colin, he's going to give you the whole range of options that he's discussed now, right? And there's something I want to just talk to you about, Colin, that when I was first of all doing my research and that, yeah, so he's going to give you the whole range and that, and obviously, you know, he's positive about franchises generally for all the reasons that he pointed out, right? Which is great, you know, so that's going to be an option, if you like, for, you know, the PT or the manager or whoever it is that he's talking to and that. And also, I just think it's absolutely brilliant how he's like basically created, you know, holistically all of these services, if you like, that they're basically going to need, you know, the financing, the insurance, you know, all of this. It's just brilliant. And no, Deborah, I think you and I would agree that, you know, if we're meeting people that are selling, we really like ones that are educating and providing value like that, right? That's the way to do it, isn't it? You know, so I think that's absolutely fantastic. You know, one of the things I was going to say to you, Colin, was that when I was doing, you know, my research on Jets, you know, so I'm talking 3 or 4 months ago, when I was doing that, obviously I was Googling, you know, gyms and franchises and stuff like that. And it wasn't long before I was absolutely inundated, right, by these folks that are basically doing this, like, you know, online digital courses and that for PTs, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, can I call them get rich quick schemes?
Oh yeah,
right?
See a few of those, yeah.
Yeah, and that, yeah. So I'm like, I mean, you must have been exposed to this, right? And you know, there are some people out there, and they basically like go, oh, you know, we can take you from like basically no members in your class, right, to doing like classes of 10 or 20 people, and that way you'll be earning like a, you know, a shed load of money every month and all the rest of it. And I'm like, okay, you know, I think I've seen this before somewhere in another industry, you know. So I don't know what you think about that, you know, about that whole thing that's going on there, you know, with personal trainers and that, you know, and how they can like basically online, you know, recruit all of these people and make tons of money. And what, you know, am I making sense?
Yeah, I mean, especially during once the pandemic hit, obviously because that was the thing that all the trainers moved to. So I think you're getting a lot of people that might have done a digital marketing course on, like, you know, for about £10 themselves, and they're like, right, that's enough, and then they'll make the Instagram look good, and you know, and show wads of money they've got in their hand, and it's actually OneNote with loads of paper and stuff, but. And then they say, give me 5,000, and you know, and we'll get you through the blueprint of how to get, you know, like earn 10,000 a month or whatever, and it's, you know, and you just think if only it was that easy, you know. And I always think, why give 5,000 if you're that good? Split the business. If you're that good, then I'll do it all. Give me the blueprint, and then we'll take 50-50. Obviously, it's probably not going to work.
And Colin, in general, what do they say? What do they say to people? Are they talking about like doing classes outdoors, or are they talking about, well, actually, you've got to find your own gym, or you go and rent a piece of a gym? What are they talking about?
There are mixes. So it's mixes like if you want, getting boot camps and stuff, and then they're outside. And I'll be honest, even being a personal trainer since 2001, I'm not going out doing press ups in the mud at like 6 a.m. in like November. It's not, you know, that there's better ways of doing it. That's not, you know, Australia or something. I probably could do that, but not in Ely. You know, but some people like it. But then I think a lot of the ones have generated stock to go to the online coaching and stuff, which, you know, I think a lot of gyms, it's good to accompany their gyms. I think it's a really, I've got a few that are going to be doing that. Some gyms that are actually going to have online coaching as part of their business. So like to, someone has 2-3 training sessions a week in a gym, and they'll try and lose weight or whatever, and it's like, that's fine. But obviously, about the times they're not in the gym, and obviously the online coaching allows them to coach them on what they're eating and what time they go to sleep at night. So there's that sort of, I find that's quite good. But even then, again, these mentors that are wanting you to pay 5,000-10,000 and so on, you know. But I think as well, if you work in a gym, your clients are there. If you're going to go online, you've got the clients in front of you, you've got the members to do that. Whereas obviously behind a laptop, you've got to get yourself out there, and which is quite hard if you're new to the industry, or, you know, perhaps online's not your thing. You know, like the face-to-face element of it. But yeah, I think online can complement it. But yeah, I think a lot of these want to, you know, promise the earth, but, you know, they might have 100 people and it might work for 3 of them, but they'll focus on those 3 in the testimonials. The other 97 that didn't make it, they just won't mention them. So,
exactly.
Colin, I'm just going to interject you, because I've just come up with something here. So you're saying, you know, between you guys that, you know, there's a lot of sharks out there. Yeah. And Colin, what are you going to do within your app to make sure that you've policed and you've got, you know, your checks, your credible checks with the people that are coming on the app, so that people know that if they go on your app, they're going to be assured of a quality stamp, as it were, so that they know that people are on the level when they're on your app.
I think especially like with the companies that will be on there, so the ones like if it is franchise and things like that, they'll be, you know, highly regarded. Obviously, we've searched the platforms we've not heard of, maybe like that. We'll go into a bit more to see what their track record is, and obviously if they've got proven models, we want to make sure they are, like, you know, legit, and that they all are. But yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is about making sure the quality of the services and the things we've got on there are legit. Then, so we wouldn't have, you know, like an 18-year-old mentor on there doing this, that, and the other, charging that and put him on the app as selling on that. We want people that have been in the industry, know the industry, and you know, and especially being in the industry quite a lot, you know, you tend to sort of know the good companies you trust, and the people within it as well. Because it's a big, you know, it's like any industry, you know, you have to be careful. There's people out there for a quick buck, which is why I think it's good to have something like that. We will have the community on there that'll be engaged, and we'll be getting feedback as well from different people. But yeah, I'd always be wary, and I have been aware of some, but they're not around anymore. There's been the odd businesses out there that have taken money and never got anywhere and just disappeared, that sort of thing, but then again, any industry, I'm sure there's something.
Yeah, now that's really good to hear, because again, if somebody's, and I know Chris, bringing you in here, there's one franchisee that hasn't come from a gym background, in the sense, I think he's helping maybe a family member or something, but ultimately that's the thing, isn't it? You've got to have something which is transparent enough for a non-gym savvy person to understand the numbers, to understand the business model. And coming back to you, Chris, on that, how do Jets give that package to people so that they can really pull it apart, see how it's going to work for them, see if they've got the predisposition as well in the personality? Because it's all right being a PT, being a business owner is a different kettle of fish, isn't it? So I'd like to think from you, Chris, how you put people through that process so they know that they're making the right decision.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, so I've done a few meetings today, actually. And, so one of the things that I'm emphasizing is, if somebody says to me, like, how many gyms are you going to have in 3 years or 5 years or whatever, I'll give them a number, right? But it's not really about numbers for us. It's about getting the right people that we can work with, right? And also we want a relatively small number, if you like, of really good people, right? Rather than, lots and lots of people, and that, some of which are a bit, I don't think we should have brought them on board, actually, type of thing. You know what I mean, right? So you've got, because I mean, overall, we're trying to make sure that the overall quality of the thing is absolutely bang on, right? So we've got to just like make sure and that they are a good fit for us, and that, and also because, with our franchisees, we're actually looking for them to go to 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, clubs, as we call them, gyms and that, in the future, and there is a massive opportunity for those that are inclined to do that. They can create 5 gyms in 5 years, and it's a £25 million business. I don't know many industries you can do that in, right? To be honest with you. But I was interested as well. I mean, obviously, I know what our numbers are. I know what it costs to set up a Jets franchise. I'll come to some of the things actually that Colin mentioned, right? Because people just don't, they like, if I tell them the raw numbers, right, they're like, well, I can't afford that, right? Actually, I'll tell you the raw numbers, right? Because they're basically published online anyway. We're talking about like £200,000 cash and £400,000 asset finance, right? And lots of people, when I say that to them, and I am very upfront about it, they go, well, I can't afford that, Chris. And I go, okay, but just bear with me a second. Exactly as Colin has said, right? Just bear with me a second here, right? Don't like walk out the door for a minute, right? Just bear with me a second, because let me explain a few things, right? Because actually, I think I said this to you before, Deborah, probably 60 or 70% of the people that come to us don't have the money, inverted commas, right? But they end up getting a Jets franchise, and so I think you'll agree with me perhaps on that, Colin. And I don't know if you've got any like comments on. I mean, you sort of basically said that yourself, didn't you? That
and I think it's that, and I've said before, like if you see some of the biggest people in business, you look at Elon Musk and whatever, a lot of the stuff that he's probably done, he hasn't had the money. Like he probably has now, but like back he wouldn't have had the money. But there are ways of doing it, and then obviously, then in the end, you do have your own money. Then you technically you would be able to say, right, I'm going to buy another Jets, and it'd be their money to go. Yeah, I'll do it with that because they've earned it from the other Jets they own. It's that sort of thing. But early on, most people won't directly have that money just sitting in front of them in a big bag. It's So it's them not being scared off by the numbers initially because other people do it. So
and just out of curiosity, Colin, right? So obviously I've given you the numbers for the Jets and that, right? What would you have said for so forgetting that for a minute, what would you have said? Well, actually, you probably need about this, right, to do sort of like a good job of setting a small gym, I assume. What would you sort of be thinking? What would be in your mind?
For a small gym setup, or
like if you said,
I mean, when I've seen some of the gyms and stuff for sale, you're looking around. There's some like about 100,000. Some sort of ones that are currently running. But again, you've always got to look at why they're being sold and stuff like that. Like turnover, so it's that sort of thing as well. And I think that's the danger of a normal gym setup. It could be other reasons why they're doing it. But you do have to always think, why is someone selling a business? If it's generating loads of money, it's like, I find it very odd that someone would just say, I don't want it now, So it could be they're sort of breaking even and so on, but then if you go in there, could you make it better? That's the other
Yeah.
thing. Is it capacity? It's not a big enough building. You're not charging enough, or whatever, or the gym's just terrible. It could be that as well, you know. So even though on the face of it, it would cost more for like a franchise, but again, if you're going in at 100,000, 120 to buy it, you're going to have to spend money to get it to a point where it's better business it is. So when you start that, again, you could make a mistake putting the money in the wrong places or overspending certain things and so on. Whereas again, if you know, franchise, it could be a franchise opportunity to a franchise to come in and actually redo the whole space, and that is the facility, you know, rebrand it and change the kit and things like that. So I think people look at numbers negatively because obviously they can be like they could be seen as high and unattainable, but there are ways of getting to that number. And certain places, you know, I've seen businesses about they say it's about 400,000 to set it up, but then that's not top end. That's if you're going to go into a prime location and what. So if you're going to go to, I should presume here it would be cheaper than that. So it might only be 250 here, just because it's not as, you know, it could already be used as a gym. It might just be you're changing it. So it could be there could be opportunities to bring that price down by the facility that you invest in.
Yeah, and Colin, I'm really interested to hear from you. Obviously, you know, young PT, people starting out, etc., got all the ambition and they love PT. What would you be looking for? What would you say to somebody that's thinking, wow, well, I could have my own business? What kind of people transfer the skills from being good PT to good business people?
I think, especially like with the industry, it's the passion of the fitness industry and like loving doing it. Rather than just thinking pound signs initially. Obviously, you know, you need to earn money and so on, but I do think that passion, but I think organisation, working as a team player as well. I've seen, looking back now, there's probably a lot of trainers that I worked with that would have been amazing gym owners, but again, it was never a possibility. But yeah, they're very like organised. They cared about everything they did, and you know, people that think of the bigger picture, you know, and not, you know, and want to get that and are willing to do the work and I've seen some trainers put in the hours, you know, and you know, and if they're willing to do those hours, there'd be less, you know, if you're doing, you could do slightly less hours and owning your own gym. They literally were in the gym at 6 a.m. and leaving at 10 p.m. at night, training back-to-back classes and everything like that. It's scary. And if they can do that. So yeah, I think it's sort of a work ethic is one, but I think a passion for fitness, but also a willingness to learn, because like I said, even though they were good trainers, also there's the business side of it. You've got to be willing to, especially if it is a franchise, to embrace and take on board absolutely everything. And it's, you know, you're going to learn very quickly, but sometimes the best way to learn is just and as well, they sort of know how the gym works because they've been in it. You know, like for me, I was in it for like 20 years, you know, so you've done everything from clean a treadmill to, like, you know, organize, you know, class structures and whatever, you know. So you sort of, it's a good way to go. I think it's good to have a pathway through the fitness instructor, personal trainer, then maybe management, maybe, or whatever, then the leap into becoming your own gym or studio owner.
Yeah, and as we close, because these discussions they always go too quickly, but we're just coming up to the top of the half hour now. And Colin, I'd just like to hear from you, and I'll come to you, Chris, in just after, is why go to your app? What does your app do and provide us value so that people would want to invest or come to and use your app?
The idea is it's to be the one-stop shop for owning your own gym, running your own gym, selling your gym, and expanding your gym business. So the idea is going to have all the tools within there to from, you know, allowing someone to purchase a gym, know how to do that, where it's through a franchise, which obviously is set up there, and then obviously get to a point where they can run it. There'll be services like digital marketing, people that have got businesses that can assist them with that, with Facebook ads and so on, and obviously fit outs and things like that. So literally the whole gym build sort of size of it, and gym management software, unless it's again a franchise. And then like knowing how to expand their business beyond one gym, because again, a lot of people think about owning a gym. What about owning more than one gym, or, you know, starting to do that sort of side of it? Turning your business into a franchise, another one as well. Some people have got some fitness concepts and stuff that would do that. So yeah, the idea is literally we want it to be the go-to place that anything beyond just being a trainer in a gym, you want to move towards owning bricks and mortar gym business, you'd use to sell my gym app.
Brilliant. Love every bit of this. And we'll have all your details on the show notes. How can people get hold of you?
Okay, yeah. So you've got the website, the landing page, so www.sellmygym.co.uk. Email address colin@profit/gen.com. So email me on LinkedIn. You see the heavily photoshopped picture of me as my profile image on there. So it's good. It's worth the money.
You look exactly the same as your picture.
Yeah, good. Yeah, the lighting's a bit, but yeah. Yes. So yeah, reach out on there. Feel free to message and so on. So yeah, we're looking for a business partner, stroke investor, a small investment, to get the gym to launch. And then yeah, it's about 80-90% done now. So we're almost there.
Brilliant. I love it. I love your entrepreneurial spirit, your gung-ho attitude, your grit, your determination. It's a joy to have you on the show. Thank you, Colin. It's been wonderful.
Thank you too. Really enjoyed it.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. And Chris, as always, it's been lovely to have you. How can people get hold of you? Because Jets Fitness just sounds perfect. So yeah, how can people get hold of you, whether you want to get a franchise or go to one of them or whatever? Yeah,
well, if you Google Jets franchise, it'll take you to the Jets franchise page, right? And if you fill in that page, it'll come to me, right? So, right, yeah.
All roads lead to Chris. Yeah.
And also, I'm proud to say that I am marketing at jets.co.uk as well on that side, or you can WhatsApp me 07881500002. And I was going to say, I was just looking back here, right? So this is our culture board, right? These go up in all of the Jets gyms, right? And I was like, okay, there's a sentence I wanted to get out. So it says vision here to be the UK's most loved gym, right?
Yeah.
But when Elaine Jobson started it, the vision was to be Australia's most loved gym, by the way, right? And then the mission is to inspire people to live a better life, right?
Wonderful.
And that is irrespective of whether they are a member or a franchisee, right? And so one of the things that I wanted to do, because obviously, I'm doing all of the franchise development for Jets at the minute, right? What I wanted to do was to take the cultural values, if you like, for a gym and for the way that a gym is run, and put those into the franchise recruitment model, right? And that's what I'm. And so part of that, right? When I sort of I basically learned what I needed to tell people, basically, right? And then I started getting these people, and they were, as Colin said, right? They were like, well, I couldn't do this. I'd never be able to get that money and all the rest of it. And I'm like, okay, just hang on a minute, right? Just hang on a minute, right? So now where I am now, I will say to them, look, 60 or 70% of people that come to us say they haven't got the money, and then they find the money, right? So just whoa a bit, right? And then I've got I won't say her name, but I've got a girl in my mind, at the minute, and that I met the other day. And I said, look, just give me some time and that, right? It's not going to cost you anything, right? I'll tell you how you can get the money, right?
And this is wonderful.
Yeah. And so I'm not saying everybody does, but you'll just be amazed, right? Once people understand the model and they understand it's a profitable model and it's a cash flow positive model and all, they go into sales mode, right? And they go oh, okay, I get it, right? I'm going to go and speak to mum, dad, best mates, all of that, right? And they're entirely confident about doing that. And I can't go into all the options, but as Colin has said, right, there are basically, particularly on the financial side, there are many different options, right?
Wonderful. Well, Chris, we could talk all night. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you, guys. It's been terrific. And just tuning back to the listeners, thanks so much for listening. I hope you're energized and completely buzzing and inspired by this discussion. The app, the technology side of it, getting into gyms when you didn't think that you could. It's just wonderful, isn't it, to have people have an abundant life that perhaps they thought, no, that's not for me, I could never do that. And then all of a sudden, hey presto, there you are, your own business owner, your own gym owner. Jets Fitness, Sell My Gym. It's just like, it's wonderful when great people come together and create great things together. So thanks, guys. For everybody listening.
Thank you, Deborah.
Oh, pleasure. For everybody listening, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to introduce you to Colin Lee Berry and Chris Windley, and we'll see you again soon. Take care now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Okay, we finished, so that's great. And I always leave that, so my colleague will actually edit that part. And so although we keep recording, because if I pressed stop recording now, we kind of like just disappear. So I'll just keep it going for a bit. Colin, how was that? How did you find that?
Really good. Really good, yeah. Sort of it's that thing when you're talking about the sort of passion project. You know, like we could, I'm sure me and Chris, we could keep this going to about midnight, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you were great, Colin. You were great, mate. You were fabulous.
Don't Jets Fitness, didn't he? Blimmin' heck, that's fabulous.
Yeah. So there is their commission model set with that. Like,
absolutely. I tell you what, Chris, if you're not on Colin's app, I don't know what. I mean, really. I mean, come on.
We're getting there, Deborah. We're getting
there.
Good.
I should think so. Wow. Yeah.
As I said to him, and that, you know, like, you know, whatever it is, sponsoring, paying advertising, or whatever it is on his site, and that's a discussion I've got to have with a few people. So we're just like small steps here, right?
Yeah.
But I've also I don't know if have you connected with Sean yet, Colin?
Yes. Literally, it'll been a video. I just talked with Sean today. Stephen was yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, you've had that conversation as well.
Yeah. So
okay,
I'm linked up with another guy. Is it Bill? Someone. I've got a call.
Bill,
tonight.
Yeah, Bill Christie as well. Yeah. So I don't. Have you noticed, Colin, up here? Look to Deborah's. Her left.
Community Association.
I've seen that. Yeah, I saw that earlier actually.
Yeah, we're Premier Partners. I can't get to go as often as I used to because of the pressure of work, but they do a good job, and it's nice to have that because it's a certified accreditation to say that you know it gives kudos to the business. So I don't want to hold you guys, but Colin, as I said, I'd love to have you. I'd love to have another discussion with you, hear more about in the discovery call, etc., and find out. So I don't know if you got your diary handy.
Yes, on my phone.
Fine. Okay, lovely.
Okay, there we go. Okay, yes. When would be good for you?
Yeah, so I'm away in Portugal next week, and I come back on the I'll be back into the office on the 21st. So that week looks pretty good to me. I don't know if you've got any times available.
About 1 o'clock on the Monday, on the 21st.
Actually, that is absolutely superb because I've just had to reschedule another episode or a couple of episodes recording of the podcasts. A gentleman in, would you believe it, Jersey was pretty much underwater today, and it was just like, it was incredible. So we had to reschedule. So that's lovely, Colin. What I will do is I will send you another link, and we can pop that in the diary. 1 p.m. on the 21st. That's fantastic. Lovely. Excellent.
Where are you going in Portugal then, Deborah?
I'm going to Lisbon because it's my birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday!
Happy
birthday! Thank you. And my old friend Victoria, we met when I was 16 and she was 15. She always pulls me up on that. I say we were 6. She goes, no, I was only 15. Yeah. So she always has that. And so she said to me a little while ago, what are you doing for your birthday? And I went, oh, you know, whatever. So she goes, I tell you what, I'll take you away. She said, where do you fancy going? And we both said at the same time, how about Lisbon? It just kind of, you're up there. So that's good. That's nice. So,
Well, have a great time there, and happy birthday. I hope you've had a nice day today.
Oh, I've had a brilliant day. You know what? And like you guys, I do what I love. I do my passion. I have, it's not work. It's just fun from the minute I start to the minute I finish. And so it's, I feel like odd when I'm not doing it, to be honest with you. So, so people have been working on your birthday, so they don't call this work.
I was good. Yeah, I was going to tell you that. So I've got a lady down in near Colchester as well, which I don't think I've introduced you to her yet, Colin. But I have introduced her to Sean and Bill and Stephen and that, right?
Yeah.
So she's actually looking to get a franchise just between us, right? She was a bit short, if like, in terms of finances and that. So we're just looking at, how we can help her to get into a Jets gym and that. So we're using the trusted business community contacts and connections there, Deborah, and that. But
okay.
yes, I want to get you in that like circle as well there, Colin, and that. But if you've had a meeting with Sean and Stephen, that's a good start anyway.
Yeah, and I think I've seen a lot of people, especially now, I think I've seen a lot more people like wanting to invest in businesses rather than even property now. And I've seen a lot of people who are actually like, no, I'm actually going to invest.
I'm getting out of property now.
Yeah. I think a lot of people will
be. It's very difficult to get out of it because a load of my property won't sell. And it's no other than it's just investors aren't interested at the moment. Renting as it was, traditional renting is just no. So I've just got one offer, 70,000 less than it was 2 years ago. And I've taken the offer because the tenants wouldn't move out. I lost the sale at the top of the market, and then the market just went down and down and down and down. And I'd rather just get rid of it now because it's empty. And I thought, I've got to go with it. So it's a sale, but I've got other ones. I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
Do you know Stephen, Deborah? Stephen Hackett?
No.
You should meet Stephen.
I don't know who he is. Never heard of him.
Yeah, okay. I'll make a note of it. For you to meet him. No, I tell you, one of the reasons might be because when you were coming on the TTBCA, right? He was there. He was like deep into a couple of companies and that he was buying or helping out or whatever it was and that. So
all right, okay.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good guy. Did you have a good conversation with him, Colin?
Yeah. I think it was on a call about an hour and a half. I think quite a bit of time. Yeah, really good. Just getting some insights. It's always good to get a different set of eyes and potential like partnerships and stuff. But sort of. I've had calls all week, so I think I've got about 7 who are interested at the moment, but in different ways. So it's finding those gaps that perhaps I don't have that I need if some of these guys offer it. And so I'm hoping by the end of this week I'd like to potentially have someone on it, then get it towards launch like ASAP.
Lovely.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Danny. When do you think this video will be ready, Deborah? Sorry.
Right. Well, I've asked my colleague, as soon as we get this uploaded now, I'll press the necessary buttons and I'll ask her to work on it as soon as she can, so that you get fast tracked through the system. So
as soon as you do. So we can push this out then. We can push the video out then, Colin, and that through our networks and stuff like that. So get a bit more awareness.
Oh yeah, please, absolutely. And if you can subscribe to the channel, that means it goes out to more people as well. So the more people subscribing, the more YouTube love to pop it all over the place. So that all works as well. So guys, I'm going to have to go because guess what? I've got another one to do.
Oh wow!
Okay. Thanks, Deborah. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks so much for that. Good to see you, Chris.
Bye now.
Bye.